Hello everybody and welcome back. Before we get started with our class, go ahead and grab any and all props that you have available to you and make sure that they're nearby. So I'm using a bolster, about 3 blankets and 2 blocks, but of course you can always find alternatives. So instead of a bolster, that can be 2 or 3 bed pillows or a couch cushion. If you don't have yoga blocks, just grab more blankets. And of course, the more props that you have, the more opportunity you'll be able to find ease in some of the poses. And if you don't have props, then of course you can still do the class. So take a moment to grab your props. And once you do, we will get started on our backs. So we will start with our first pose, which will be banana asana or banana pose. So walk your feet forward and extend your arms above your head. Keeping your hips where they are, walk your feet over to the bottom right corner of your mat. And you can move your shoulder blades towards the right. And with your arms, you can either hold onto your left wrist. Each hand can grab the opposite elbow. Or you can take your right arm down by your side and left arm stays up. With your feet, they can stay side by side, or you can take your left foot and cross it over your right ankle. And just make sure that your hips and your right shoulder are grounded to the floor. Head can turn any direction. So the target area of our class today is the side body. So most of the poses will either be lateral flexion, which is side bending, or twists. So as you're here, just take notice of your entire left side from your heel all the way to your armpit and even to your left arm. And as you're breathing, breathe as if you can breathe just into your left rib cage. So one thing about the side body is that we don't have very many opportunity in everyday functional activities to use the side body. I always like to say this analogy. When was the last time that you went to the grocery store, you saw your favorite cereal, and you decided to side bend in order to grab it from the shelf? I'm sure you probably didn't. But the side body is something that we don't get to work with very often, unless we're doing any movements that involve twists. But there's a lot of muscles, a lot of tissues, and even pathways within our physiological body that run along the sides, particularly in our torso and our ribs. So this class will give us a wonderful opportunity to work into those lateral sides. So we will be here for another third. If you're brand new to the practice of yin, we generally hold for time anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes. Most of the poses today will be an average of 3. And as we're holding the poses, we're not concerned about alignment or any specific actions through the muscles. So we come into each shape with our body as is, and we allow the time, gravity, and the gentle stress to let our body open up on its own time. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Slowly walk everything back to center, your feet, arms, and shoulder blades. And then exhale, we'll move into the other side. So walk your feet over to the left, hips stay where they are. And then you'll scoot your shoulder blades a little bit to the left. Either hold onto your right wrist, let each hand grab the opposite elbow, or let your left arm be down by your side. And then once you arrive, come into your breath. Notice the entire right side of your body and breathe into your right ribs. And even imagine your ribs opening like the gills of fish when they breathe. So as I said, our upper body, particularly the sides, hold a lot of muscles and tissues, and the intercostal muscles and the side abdominal muscles. But also there's a lot of pathways within our physiological body. We have a lot of nerve endings that run through the sides. And I think the most important physiological system that pertains to the side body is our breathing, the respiratory system. So whenever we breathe, our lungs expand in all four directions. So they're not just expanding into the front body and into the back body, but they're also breathing into the sides. And our rib cage has mobility in all 360 degrees. So our ribs don't just move front or back, but they also move through the sides as well. And when we can put more emphasis and release through our sides, we allow our ribs to fully expand in all four directions, and thus we can take more air in, more oxygen in. And when the respiratory system is allowed to work within its full potential, it then starts to influence the nervous system. When we can breathe more full, slower, more expansive, then it sends a signal through our nervous system that it is okay to soften, it is okay to relax and become more gentle. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Take a deep inhale. Release the breath. Slowly let everything come back to center. And then just let your arms float down by your sides. Have your feet a little bit wider than your hips. So we'll rebound in a mini Shavasana. And just notice how you feel throughout your entire body. Not just the sides, but also your front and back body as well. So go ahead and walk your feet up towards your bum and have your feet at the outer edges of your mat. Just gently start to windshield wiper your knees from left to right. And then eventually, when your knees fall to the left, pause there. Notice how your hip feels in your lower back. If this position is putting too much intense sensation in your low back, then you can go to a standard reclining twist. So you'll just draw your knees into your chest and let your legs fall to the left. Place a block or even a bolster in between your legs. If this windshield wiper position feels fine for your low back, then you can continue to stay here. You can place any prop underneath your left thigh or your right thigh. You can add on by taking your left foot and stacking it on top of your right knee or thigh. And your right arm can either be out to a T, you can goalpost your right arm, or you can reach your right arm towards the wall behind you. Now, if neither of these variations work for your body today, another pose that you can do is an IT band stretch. So you'll draw your right knee to your chest, take a strap or something similar and place it over your right foot. You'll straighten your right leg up to the sky. And then you'll start to cross your right leg over to the left, but just to the point when you start to feel like your right hip has to lift off the ground, and that'll target into your outer right hip and the IT band. Moving into our outer leg. particularly the IT band, which is a strip of muscle that runs from your outer hip to the side of your knee. And it is a very important muscle to stabilize all the rest of our leg muscles. And really the best way that we can target this IT band is by working with lateral flexion throughout the entire body. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And remember that we are holding for time, but the times are just merely suggestion. Everybody has their own threshold of time and sensation. So if your body tells you that it's time to come out of a pose, you give your body the permission and the consent to do so. Wherever you are, take a deep inhale and exhale. Slowly come out of your pose. And we'll rebound by taking mini Shavasana, legs extended out in front and arms by your sides. Take a moment to pause and feel the difference between your sides, especially in your outer right hip and left hip. And then we will go to the other side. So for Windshield Wiper, feet at the edges of your mat with your knees bent, you'll let your legs drop to the right. And you can either stay with your legs staggered or stack your right foot over your left knee or thigh. Alternatives are a standard twist, legs together and legs over to the right, maybe with a prop like a block or bolster in between your legs. Your arm can either go out to a T, goalpost, or you can reach it towards the back wall. Or you can take that IT band stretch, holding onto your leg with a strap or something similar. And then you'll cross your left leg over to the right just before your left hip has to lift off the ground. Whichever variation you are doing, pause, breathe, and just simply observe the body sensations, observe your breath, and also observe the mind. So know that your mind will wander off. It is a natural occurrence. That's just what the thinking mind wants to do. But know that whenever it happens, it is just a confirmation that you are a human being and that you have the opportunity to bring your mind back to the present. So that's what I love about the yin practice, is that it becomes a training for meditation. When we hold these poses, it's very easy for the mind to wander off. But the beautiful thing about yin is that we have a lot of tools that are happening in the present that can allow our attention to stay present. We have the sensations of the body. We have the breath. So anytime that your mind wanders off, just simply notice, recognize, and then just gently guide it back to your physical body or your breath. Take a slow inhale. And exhale. Slowly and gently come out of your variation. We'll rebound in mini Shavasana, legs extended out in front, arms down by your sides. And then pause. Allow your breath to be natural. And just notice what you feel between your sides. And then go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a gentle hug. And gently roll to one side or the other. Take a moment to pause, feel the ground beneath you. Whichever arm is on top, use that arm to help press you up, and we'll find a seat. So sit on a blanket or even a pillow, and then extend your legs long out in front of you. Our next pose will be either shoelace or half shoelace. So you'll draw your right knee into your chest, step your right foot to the outside of your left leg, and then start to walk it over towards your left hip. Your knee will stack on top of your left thigh. This is half shoelace. You can either stay here or you can take full shoelace by bending your left knee and placing your left foot on the right side of your hips. Your legs do not have to be close together. There can be a little bit of space, but they will stack. The alternative from here will be to return to your back, and you'll take the same leg position but in a reclining position. So right thigh over left thigh, knee over knee. And then you'll let your legs fall to the left, maybe with a prop like a block or a bolster underneath your legs. So this is twisted roots. This is the alternative. If you are seated in shoelace or half shoelace, you'll reach both arms up to the sky with the inhale. On the exhale, place your right hand down by your side, either on the floor or a block. And then you'll bend at your right elbow and side lean towards the right. Your left arm can either stay up and straight, or you can place your left hand behind your head and just let your elbow point up. And then just lightly be heavy in your left hip, so you're targeting through the left side of your ribs. We'll do 3 variations of shoelace or half shoelace. This is the first one. And if you're doing reclining shoelace, twisted roots, then you will hold that for a full 3 minutes. If you are in side leaning shoelace, come back up on the inhale, reach your left arm up. Walk your right hand with the block or not behind you, and then exhale, left hand will either hold onto your right knee as you twist to the right, or your left arm can drape on the outside of your right thigh as you twist. And if you could not twist for any reason, then the alternative will just be to go back to the side stretching variation with your left arm up and side leaning to the right. If you are side leaning or twisting, come back to center. And then exhale, we will go into the forward fold variation. So just walking your hands forward and folding over your legs. If you're in half shoelace with your left leg extended, Feel free to place a blanket underneath your left knee if folding forward puts too much intense sensation on your left knee. And if you have been in twisted roots on your back for the entire time, just continue to stay. Or if you need to rebound early, feel free to do so. Take a deep inhale and exhale. If you are in the forward fold, slowly raise yourself up. Start by undoing your left leg first, and then undo your right leg, straighten them out in front of you, and give them a shimmy and shake. If you went to your back for twisted roots, take your knees back to center, uncross your legs, set your feet to the floor, and just gently windshield wiper your knees from left to right. So going into the other side, if you are on your back, your left knee will cross over right knee and thigh over thigh for reclining shoelace. And then you'll drop those knees over to the right for twisted roots. And again, you can place a blanket, bolster, or block underneath your thighs to support them. If you are still seated, left knee to your chest, step your left foot to the outside of your right leg and scoot your foot over towards your right hip. Your left knee will stack on top of your right leg. You can keep your right leg straight or bend your right knee and set your right foot on the left side of your hips. Whichever version of seated shoelace, whether half or full, you're taking, reach both arms up to the sky as you inhale. Exhale, left hand down to the floor or a block. Bend at your left elbow and side lean towards the left. Right arm can stay straight, or you can place your right hand behind your head with your elbow up. And this will be our first variation for our seated shoelace series. If you are in your back for twisted roots, remember you will just stay there the entire 3 minutes. If you're in the side leaning shoelace, come back to center. And then exhale, either twist to the left. Your left hand will be behind you, right hand on your left knee or right arm on the outside of your left thigh. Or come back to the side leaning variation. And if you are in twisted roots, just continue to stay and breathe in your pose. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Whether you're in the twist or the side leaning variation, come back to center. And then you will fold forward over your legs, either in full shoelace or half shoelace. And again, pat up your right knee if you need that extra support. And if you are on your back for twisted roots, you can continue to stay, or if you need to rebound early on this side, feel free to do so. Take a deep inhale and exhale. If you're folding forward, slowly raise yourself up. Uncross your legs, extend them out in front, give them a shimmy and shake, and then find some stillness. If you are on your back, draw your knees to center, uncross your legs. You can either take Windshield Wiper legs or take a mini Shavasana. So come to a seat wherever you are. Turn to face one of the long edges of your mat and sit up on a blanket or a pillow. So coming into half Dragonfly, you'll take your right leg out to the side to a half wide V. Feel free to place a blanket underneath your right knee here, and your left foot will be in a half butterfly or half cross-legged position. Turn your chest away from your right leg as you inhale, and then your right hand will be on the block or the floor or even elbow on a block, and you'll side lean towards your right leg. And just keep your left arm by your side, or you can half wrap your left forearm around your low back. But as you do this, try to keep your chest turning away from your leg, so that way all the sensation remains in your lateral side. You'll also get some extra sensation through your right hamstrings here. And your right foot can just be in a light flexion, so find a natural position for your right foot rather than trying to actively flex it. So as we hold, we'll do a little bit of directional energy movement. So I want you to imagine that there's a spark of energy that's resting on your right heel. And as you take your next inhale, imagine that spark of energy is moving down the back side of your right leg, all the way to your left hip. And then as you exhale, feel the spark of energy move from your left side hip all the way up your left ribs to your left armpit. So just inhaling from the back of your right leg, from heel all the way to your left outer hip. And then exhale up your left side body to your left armpit. So just breathe naturally, but focus your attention on the energy that's moving through your body. We're about halfway through. So we're going to add on with our directional energy movements. So as you take your next inhale, see, feel, or imagine the spark of energy move from your right heel all the way to your left armpit. And then exhale, feel it go down your right ribs to your right hip, and then down to the top of your right foot and your right toes. So now you're creating a full loop. So inhale down the back of your right leg, up your left side body. And then exhale down your right side body and through the front of your leg to your right toes. So take one more inhale. And then exhale. For a moment, just let go of that visual concentration work. And slowly lift your spine back up to neutral. And then just take a moment to pause. Notice how you feel. And then we will switch sides. So draw your right foot in towards your pelvis. And then your left leg will go straight out to a half-wide V. Feel free to pad up your left knee with that rolled up blanket or towel. And your left foot will just be in a natural position. Turn your chest away from your left leg with your left hand either on the floor, your shin, or a block. And then exhale, side lean towards your left leg. Your right arm can just remain by your side, or you can wrap your right forearm around your low back. And then coming back to that visual concentration. On your next inhale, feel the energy move up the back of your left heel to your outer right hip. And then exhale, feel the movement go from your outer right hip up your right ribs to your right armpit. So even if there's no actual spark of energy moving through these lines, just let the exercise be a way to help you connect not only to the sensations of your body, where your attention is moving, but also a way to help you connect more to your breath. So as you're moving the imaginary spark of energy up these lines, notice what you feel along the way, and also allow your breath to be more expansive. We're about halfway through. So once more, we'll add on in order to expand the breath further. So as you inhale, the spark of energy moves from your left heel all the way up through the right side to your right armpit. And then exhale from your left side body down your hip to your left foot. Inhaling up the back of your left leg through your right side body. And exhale down your left side body through the top of your left leg to your left toes. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Release the visual concentration for now and slowly raise your torso upright. Take a moment to pause. And from here, slowly extend both legs out in front of you. Give them a little bit of a shimmy and shake. Our next pose will be any symmetrical forward fold. So that could be seated forward fold or caterpillar with your legs straight out in front of you. You can take a blanket underneath your knees like you did in the half dragonflies, and then just fold forward over your legs. I personally like to take a bolster over my legs and place a block in between my forehead and the bolster. Another option is full dragonfly, so both legs out to the V, a blanket underneath each one, and then you'll fold towards the middle, maybe a block underneath each elbow, or stack blocks underneath your forehead. You can also do butterfly with the soles of your feet together, knees apart, and then fold forward from there. And then just some other alternatives would be legs up the wall, or you can just do legs up towards the sky, laying down on your back with a block underneath your hips and lifting your legs straight up. Or you can even do reclining butterfly on your back with the soles of your feet together, knees apart. So find your forward fold or any alternative, as long as it's something that's symmetrical, even on both sides. And then when you've found that pose, when you've supported yourself with whatever props will help you find comfort and support, allow yourself to settle in and focus on your breath. So we're about halfway through. If you would like to stay in the pose that you're in, feel free to stay. Or maybe you want to switch to a different forward fold. So maybe you're in seated forward fold with legs together, and then you take your legs out to the wide V. Or maybe you're in butterfly and you want to go into the dragonfly with your legs in a wide V. And as we hold for this last half, let's do a little bit of pranayama or yogic breathing. So we're going to do samavriti or even breath. So inhale for a count of 4. Pause for a brief moment at the top. And then exhale for 4. And then hold at the bottom. And then just continue to count your breath, inhaling for 4. Slight pause at the top. And then exhaling for 4. And then having a slight pause at the bottom. After your next exhale in the 4 count breath, just take a slow breath in, natural. Slow breath out, natural. If you're in any of the forward folds, slowly make your way back up. And then just extend your legs long out in front of you. Give them a little shimmy and shake to rebound. If you are in any other position, just find a rebound that works for you. So if any of the poses that you're doing is on your back, you can just draw your knees into your chest, remove any props off to the side. And then we will move into a back bend of any kind. So one option is Sphinx Pose. Laying down on your belly, you'll place your elbows underneath your shoulders, forearms parallel or hands interlaced. Option 2, from your back, you'll place something underneath your hips. That could be a block, a bolster, or any combination of stacked props. And your legs can be bent, or you can straighten your legs forward. Option 3 would be a supported fish or supported back bend, and you can do that with a 2-block heart opener, 1 block underneath the middle of your back, a 2nd block underneath your head, recline back. You can also do it with the entire length of a bolster, a rolled up blanket, or a stack of pillows. And if you do not want a back bend, or maybe back bend is not optimal for your spine, then take any other symmetrical pose that you prefer. Just be intuitive with it. Or maybe you want to head straight to Shavasana now. That is also another option. So whichever pose that you choose, we'll come back to that 4-count breath, but we're going to add on by having the counts also be on the pauses in between the inhales and the exhales. So wherever you are, exhale everything out, and then inhale for the count of 4. Pause 4. Exhale for 4. Pause 4. Inhale for 4. Pause 4. Exhale for 4. Pause 4. And just keep going on your own. And if you would like to add on, you can always move up to a count of 5 or even go up to a count of 6. So we have about another third left. Keep going with your box breathing. And if you need to rebound early, always remember that you have your permission and your consent to do so. After your next exhale, allow the breath count to go and just let your breath be natural. And then take a slow breath in and let it go. So we will rebound. If you are on your belly for Sphinx, that can be just laying flat on your belly with your forehead stacked on top of your hands, or you can go to Child's Pose. Anything that you did on your back, you can just remove props off to the side and lay flat on your back with your legs extended out in front of you. And just take a moment to pause and rebound. Notice how you feel. And then we'll start to make our way to our final posture of ease and stillness, Shavasana. So Shavasana traditionally is legs extended out in front, arms by your side, but feel free to use any props to support you. And once you found your shape and you're supported by props, we'll do just a little bit more breath work before we settle into stillness. So take a full inhale in through your nose, and then a slow exhale out through your nose. And then inhale for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Slower exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. Slower exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. Pause. Even slower exhale for 8. Inhale for 5. Exhale for 8. Inhale for 5. Slower exhale for 9. Inhale for 5. Even slower exhale for 10. Inhale for 6. Slow exhale for 10. Inhale for 6. Slowest exhale for 12. Hold the breath out. Inhale all the way to the very top. Open your mouth and let it go with a sigh. Notice how your breath feels, how your body feels, and just let everything be effortless. And just enjoy these next few moments of rest. As always, if you would like to stay in Shavasana longer, I invite you to stay and rest. You can hit the pause button, or you can just let the video finish out. If you are ready to move on with your day, start by inviting a deeper breath back in. And then invite some gentle movement, starting at your fingers and your toes. Circle it out through your ankles and wrists. Eventually draw your knees into your chest. Roll to one side or the other. Whichever arm is on top, use that arm to help press you up to find a seat. Draw your hands to your heart in gratitude. And bow your head down towards yourself, acknowledging your effort and your energy. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so that way you know when new videos are up. And if you know anybody that could use some more yoga in their life, share this video and my channel with them. And as always, have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.